What's going on, guys? It's your boy Shadows Gaming 44 here, or Logan, and today I got a bit of an interesting story time for y'all. You know, alright, so this one, I ain't gonna lie, this was a pretty scary time for me. Well, after I figured out it could have been, like at first it didn't seem that bad, but it was worse than I thought. And would be about one of the worst injuries I think I've ever had. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm pretty sure this is one of the worst injuries I've ever had to go through. And yeah, it happened because of something pretty stupid I did, you know. And actually, I think this one happens with 12-year-old Logan. Yeah, that's right. 12-year-old Logan was apparently even stupider than 13-year-old Logan. So, yeah, why don't we get into this? So, basically, today's story time takes place a couple years ago. I'd say about in like 2018. And obviously, in 2018, that's when 12-year-old Logan is thriving, alright? And one of these days, alright, so let me tell you like a little backstory, alright, as always. So there's like this pool at like one of my grandma's house, and it has a basketball hoop, a poolside basketball hoop, and that'll come in later in the story, alright? Trust me, it's important, just hear me out, alright? So I'm chilling one day, and it's like middle of the summer, middle of summer break. I'm enjoying myself, you know, and my aunt comes in the room, and she goes, "Hey, you trying to go to grandma's?" I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, sounds fun. We can go swimming, you know, it should be a pretty fun day today." Well, little did I know, it did not end up being a fun day, alright, but I'm like, yeah. So I go and I grab my swimming trunks out of the hallway, and Jimmy, you know, Jimmy's always there. He's hyped. He's like, "Yo, you ready to go swimming? I'm gonna do a backflip in." Oh, da 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 da. And I'm like, "Yeah." So I go, you know, I get ready and I bring my swimming trunks because I don't want to go out in public in swimming trunks. I just change when I get there, alright? But anyway, we go there, and as we're on our way there, I remembered my friend wanted to come over this day. So I asked my aunt, I say, "Can my friend come over?" And we're just gonna call this friend, we're gonna call him, we're gonna call him Jaden. Alright? And I'm like, "Hey, aunt, this blah blah blah, can Jaden come over?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, sure, who's bringing him?" And I'm like, "His dad's bringing him," because his dad really was bringing him in this, like, at this point. So she's like, "Yeah, sure, he can come over for a little bit. Yeah, I don't really care." I'm like, "Yeah, sweet, let's go." So I call up Jaden. I'm like, "Hey, yo, you should pull up over here. You know, we're gonna be swimming, so like, bring your swimming trunks." And he's like, "Oh, bet, dude. That's cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, that is." So fast forward like 10 minutes later, we're like standing out on the like driveway, and we're waiting on we're waiting on Jaden to get there. So as we're standing there, you know, we're waiting, we're thinking every passing car is Jaden. And eventually it is Jaden. I forget what kind of car he had, you know, that doesn't really matter, it's not important. But his car pulls up and out comes Jaden. We're like, "Oh yeah, what's up, man?" And we like, you know, dab him up and everything, you know, what the homies like casually would do. And I'm like, "Yeah." So Jimmy's like, "You ready to swim, bro?" And Jaden's like, "Oh yeah, man, bet, I'm down." And we're all like, "Oh yeah, cool." So we all go inside, and I go in the bathroom, I change, you know. I ain't gonna lie, I have a pretty bad habit of like, after I am changing, I have a pretty bad habit of looking at myself with my shirt off, you know, because I think I'm hot stuff or something, whatever. But yeah, I do that for about 2 minutes, and then after that, I step out, and I see Jaden and Jimmy. They're both ready, and they're like, "Yo, what took you so long?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I don't know what happened," but yeah, they're like, "Oh, whatever, dude." And then we start heading out to the pool, and it's like in the backyard. Like as soon as you step out, you can see it. It's pretty easy to find, but we step out and we go over to this pool, and at first we just jump in, you know, so we don't have to like sit there and get used to it. And we're like, like vibing, like swimming around in the water, and then we get a ball, and as I said, the poolside basketball hoop is right there, and there's like a crate, like a toy crate, not made for jumping off of at all, but it's whatever. We did it anyway because we were dumb. So we pull this crate over like to the side of the pool, like next to the basketball hoop, and we start dunking on it. All right, it's not a safe idea to dunk on this thing. It's not like very sturdy or anything, but yeah, we start dunking on it because I guess we didn't care about safety. We just wanted to do something cool. I guess I don't know. We're stupid. So we start doing this, and as we're doing it, we're doing some pretty cool dunks, and then they're like, "Hey, yo, Logan, I bet you aren't able to do a 360 dunk." And I'm like, "Oh, you want to bet?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's see you do it." And I'm like, "You know what? Okay, fine, I will do it." So I do it, and like I hit the dunk, it goes in, and I think I'm successful. I think I'm gonna come through and be like, "Oh, yo, that was so cool," da da da. But little did I know, it's not how it goes at all. Alright, so I do this 360 dunk, and I go under the water for a second. And as I'm under the water, I start to try to swim back up. But little did I know, this hoop was coming down. And apparently they were trying to yell for me, but like, I'm underwater, I can't hear nothing. So, as this is coming down, I'm coming up. And, as it would do, we have a, like, collision. And it hits my head pretty hard apparently, but like under there, like I swear, it felt like it barely touched me. I was like, oh, I don't know what that was. I'm just gonna keep heading up. And as I'm heading up, I get up there, and then everybody's staring at me. And I'm like, yo, what is it? And then I hear my grandpa, he goes, yep, it's leaking. It's pretty bad. I'm like, wait, what are they talking about? I barely got hit. So I start swimming over there, but like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm feeling lightheaded when I get up. I'm like, yo, that's weird. And so like, I'm lightheaded. I'm swimming over there. And as I swim and I get to the stairs, right, I feel my head and I see blood on my hand. And I start freaking out. Like, my heart starts racing. I'm like, yo, what happened? How did that happen? What the heck happened? So I, like, not run inside. I walk inside because, like, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm feeling dizzy. Like, I, you know, I'm feeling pretty woozy because I got hit in the head pretty hard apparently. Like it didn't feel like it at first, but apparently I did get hit pretty hard. But I'm walking in and I'm feeling lightheaded. I'm like, oh no, bro, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna black out? What's gonna happen? So I get to the bathroom and I look in the mirror, and sure enough, there's blood pouring like down the back of my head and like the front of my head. And if you have a weak stomach, I'm sorry to say that. Like, I should have give you a warning before I said that, but yeah, it was bad. Like, there was blood coming down like the front and the back of my head, alright? And it was not very, it wasn't a very pleasant sight, especially for me, the one who had the blood coming down his head. But, you know, I'm like, oh no, like, I'm freaking out. And then my aunt comes in there and, and she's like, oh no, we gotta get him to urgent care. Da 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 da, like, we gotta get him to a hospital. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, yeah, 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 please get me to a hospital. And like, yeah, we got, we're going to. And they're like, oh shoot, alright, go to the car, go to the car. And they give me like this rag to hold on my head. And I'm like, okay, I'm going, I'm going. So I'm like squeezing this rag down on my head kind of hard because they told me to put pressure on it. And I'm sitting in there, and my cousin comes out, not Jimmy, it's like one of my girl cousins, and they come out, and I'm gonna call her Jenny. Jenny comes running out there and is like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm fine." Apparently I was talking weird because I don't know, I was dizzy from getting hit so hard, and they're like, "You'll be fine. They're probably just gonna give you some stitches. It's all gonna be good." So eventually, fast forward like 5 minutes later, my aunt comes walking out of there, and we start heading down to this urgent care. And the whole time she's like asking me, are you fine? Are you okay? Like, do you need something to drink or anything? Like, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. But I'm obviously not, because like, I ain't gonna lie, this is kind of embarrassing to say. I mean, I was kind of like bawling my eyes out. I ain't gonna lie, 12-year-old me was crying pretty hard. But, you know, you know, eventually we get down there and we go inside, and yeah, we're standing in the lobby and like waiting for like a doctor or whatever, and they ask the normal questions like what's your name, like what happened, stuff like that. And I'm standing there answering, then all of a sudden like I black out for like a split second, and I like almost fall to the ground, but luckily my aunt catches me. She's like, you good? And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm fine. But I really wasn't fine. But I had to go with the flow. So after that happens, they like wrap my head up, and I like looked super super stupid. Like they kind of like mummified my head, but like left my mouth, nose, and eyes out. And I go sit on this chair, and I'm sitting there, and my aunt calls my parents, and they're like, you want us to come down there? And we're like, no, we got this. We're fine. The doctor's gonna take care of it. And they're like, okay, suit yourself. So you know, we wait like fast forward 30 minutes later, a doctor comes out, calls my name, Logan R, come on in here. And we're like, all right, for sure. So we we go out, and we like go up to the hallway thing, and we get walked to the doctor's office, and immediately they lay me down and put like some numbing type stuff on my head. Luckily, they didn't have to shave my head to like get to it or anything, like, which I'm so happy about. But they did have to like numb it, which I'm actually happy they did, because I would have been freaking out the whole time. But whatever they gave me apparently made me like start cracking jokes while they were putting literal stitches in my head. But yeah. So I'm sitting there getting stitches in my head, and apparently I'm cracking jokes all the time. And eventually the doctor's like, "We're done." I'm like, "That's it?" And he's like, "Yeah," cause like I was expecting it to hurt like really really bad, but I guess it didn't hurt that bad because of the medicine. And yeah, after that, I'm kind of chilling. I'm like, all right, I just got these stitches. This isn't that bad, and you know, we do whatever we have to do to like get discharged or whatever, and we start heading out. And as we're going home, oh, if you're wondering about Jaden, poor man, after seeing his friend literally get his head cracked open like a dang pistachio, he's like, yo, how'd it go? Are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Which it turns out that, like, if you've ever put a basketball hoop together, the rim, it has like little like things to like stick the net in between, and apparently I ended up with two cuts because one of those hit like towards like the front of my head, like the top of it, and another one hit like towards the back of my head. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. My head was cut open in two places. I had to put two stitches. I forget how many stitches, maybe like 4 or 5 each. I'm not sure. But he's like, yo, that's crazy. It's alright, you'll be fine. And I'm like, yo, what happened with you? And he's like, oh, I just called my dad. He came and picked me up like 5 minutes later. So, yeah, that had to be like the shortest hangout time I've ever had. Like, he was there maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes. But yeah, apparently his dad got him, and I was like, yo, like, that's good. Alright, so you didn't have to sit there with Jimmy, because like at the time he didn't know Jimmy very well. He was there for me mostly. And yeah, I was like, yeah, that would have been awkward. And he's like, yeah, I hope you get better, bro. And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, I gotta go, bro. I'll see you later. And I was like, alright, peace, bro. You know how it goes. And after that, I think I get home like pretty late, and I ain't gonna lie, like I wasn't used to it. Like this was my first time getting stitches in my head, so I just kept touching on them, and my aunt kept telling me to stop. But it was like it was hard to resist touching the stitches in my head because they felt so weird. Like if you've ever had stitches, they feel like really weird to like touch. But I had a really bad habit of touching them, so I'm just touching them. But yeah, eventually, fast forward maybe like a week or two later, they were like the stitches that like fall out on their own or whatever. So I ended up being pretty chill. Like I was chilling, the stitches came out and I was fine. You know, like I had a couple of scars on my head, you know, 'cause like I forget how I found out. I think my aunt like took a picture and showed me or something. But I had 2 scars on my head. I don't know if they're still there. I haven't looked in a minute, but yeah. Moral of the story is be careful. Make sure, like, if you have like a poolside basketball hoop, like, you be really careful that it's weighed down properly, and be like really careful, and like, you know, like I said, make sure it's weighed down properly, and you should be fine. And never hang on the rim. Yeah, people were accusing me of hanging on the rim after, which I didn't. I wasn't that stupid, but they were still accusing me of it. But yeah, that reminded me of telling y'all, don't hang on it. Like, definitely don't. Like, y'all probably have the common sense to not hang on it, but I'm just letting you know, just in case you don't. Never hang on a poolside basketball hoop. But yeah, I think that's all I have to cover. You know, I would really love for y'all to go check out the Spotify, the podcast. You know, it's Shadows Gaming 44 story times. Go show some love. We got 7. I might do some sort of celebration for 50. Like, that's our goal. 50 listeners on there. You know, that would really make me happy, you know, cuz yeah, it would. And I have 7, and there's 17, 18 of you. So all of you guys need to like go over there, show some love, you know. That would really, it would mean a lot to me. It would mean as much as me as it does on here. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's about all I have to cover. Um as always, if you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.